Hi guys, welcome to one more video and thank you so much for watching. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, I would say. Have you ever heard people say that they are much funnier in Spanish, or that they sound much smarter in English, or much more relaxed when they speak Italian, for example? It sounds crazy, but apparently there is a thing called changing personalities in different languages. This is something that I have heard polyglots discuss for a very long time. I have met people who claimed that their personality really changes when they speak in different languages, and I have also read several articles from language experts who claim that this is actually true. So today I wanted to discuss with you guys this topic because I find it really interesting. I want to share with you my own experience when speaking several languages, and I also want to hear about your experience. First of all, let me tell you that changing personalities in different languages actually sounds way more serious than it really is. It doesn't mean that a person becomes someone completely different when speaking in Spanish and in English, for example. It just means that our behavior changes a little bit when we speak two different languages, for example. And also let's mention that some people have several personalities even when they speak only one language. So don't worry, don't be scared, polyglots are not crazy. We are not changing completely in different languages, but we are influenced a little bit by the language we speak. Let me explain this. According to many language experts and researchers, the way we perceive the culture and the country of the language we speak is influencing a lot our way of speaking the language. So the way you view, for example, Spanish culture and Spanish people, the feelings you have towards them are going to influence the way you speak Spanish. And this actually makes a lot of sense. I have noticed that in my case, when I am learning a new language or when I already speak a language, I am kind of trying to, I don't want to say imitate, but okay, I'm going to say imitate native speakers. This is perfectly normal because when you learn certain language, native speakers of the language are your role model, for example, because they have a knowledge that you want to acquire. So you kind of view them as your role models because you want to be able to do the thing that they do, speak the language. So every time you want to practice your target language with native speakers, you're going to listen to the sounds they make, the way they pronounce certain words. You are going to notice their facial expressions because different cultures have different facial expressions when they talk, and you will try to imitate them even without noticing that you are doing that. So this is where you can see that your personality does change a little bit when you speak different language. And I would say that maybe it's changing personality sounds too serious. I would call it changing behavior a little bit, or I actually cannot find the right word to describe it, but there is definitely something true about this thing. I also have to mention that this is only happening with languages that you speak very well. If you still don't speak the language well, if you're still learning, you cannot feel relaxed enough to actually change your personality because while you are speaking, you will probably be thinking about what's the right word to say, how should you put your next sentence, and you cannot feel completely relaxed to actually show your personality. But when you're already comfortable with the language you speak, you can kind of relax and you can show your true colors. Based on my own experience, I have to say that I have noticed some differences in my behavior and in the way I feel when speaking different languages. For example, when I speak my native language, I feel kind of boring and totally non-interesting because I'm doing something that's completely normal. I'm speaking my native language. On the other hand, when I speak other languages that I have learned later in life, I feel very self-confident, I feel very smart. I'm like, oh my God, look at me, I'm having a conversation in a language that I have learned. So I feel very self-confident, I feel very interesting, and every time I'm in a big group of people, when I'm traveling or when I was living abroad, I was always looking forward to speaking with foreigners and not with my own nation, because I just feel better when I can practice other languages. On the other hand, it is true in my case and in everyone's case that we do feel more relaxed when we speak our native language, which is completely normal. We grew up with that language, we can express anything with that language, so we are all more relaxed because we won't make any mistake. When it comes to other languages that I have learned later in life, I also feel that I change a little bit when I speak different languages. So for example, when I speak English, I don't feel anything. Probably because we are all so used to hearing English and speaking English nowadays. We are surrounded in English in every single field of life. So English kind of became normal. It's not anything special. And I don't have any special emotions when speaking English because I feel that, everyone speaks it. What's a big deal? On the other hand, when I speak Spanish, I feel so happy. I have no words to describe how happy I feel when I speak Spanish. It's because it's my favorite language. It sounds so beautiful. I feel that I sound beautiful when I speak Spanish, even though I don't sound as good as native speakers. But just Spanish makes me feel so good about myself when I speak it. And I have heard several people who speak English as their second or third language say that they are much more outgoing in Spanish. I don't know if that's the case with me. I just can tell you that I feel much better speaking Spanish than any other language. On the other hand, when I speak Russian, I love speaking Russian, but I have noticed that I am way more serious. Even though some people think that I'm serious all the time, I'm not. But when I speak Russian, I feel really serious. And I would say that this is because almost all Russian native speakers that I have met, and I met a lot of them, are usually very serious people. Not in a bad sense, they're nice, but Russians are the nation that smiles less, they're more serious. I think that's what everyone notices. So when I start speaking Russian with someone, I'm immediately going into my Russian mode and I'm, not smiling, being completely calm and so on. As I said in the beginning, this whole thing about changing personalities when speaking different languages sounds way more serious than it really is. And I wouldn't even call it changing personality. What changes in my case is the way I feel about myself. As I said, I feel very relaxed in my native language, but I don't really enjoy speaking it because it's normal to speak your native language, but I feel beautiful when I speak in Spanish. I feel very self-confident when I speak any other language that I have learned. But I would say that's the only thing that really changes the way I feel about myself, because to you and to other people, I would probably look and sound like same Natasha in any language. The only thing that changes the way I feel about myself. And I don't know if other polyglots would agree with this, because each one of us has our own experience. So guys, I would love to hear from you. How do you feel about this? If you speak several languages, do you feel that your personality or your behavior changes a little bit when you speak those languages? Has anyone commented on that? Did anyone mention to you that you are a different person when speaking in different languages? I personally have never got that comment, but since I have seen that this is a very discussed topic among polyglots, I actually thought that there is something here. There is a little bit of change when we speak different languages, but as I said, it's more in the way we feel about ourselves than actual personality change. So let me know in the comments how much you change when you speak different languages, and I hope you enjoyed my video, and see you next week.